of Bedford council meeting. This is our first official council meeting with our new two new councilmen, councilwoman on board with us. I'd like to have you all turn off your cell phones. No camera on, just the camera we have in the middle there. And welcome again. Clerk, call the roll, please. Sorry, this is my first one for this year. If you would all please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated, please. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Here.
Fluharty,
Here.
Saunders,
Here.
Rhodes,
Here.
Spinks,
Here.
Croce, Ezak,
Here. Clerk, if we can, have a motion to excuse Mayor Cochi for this evening. May I have a motion? By Spinks, please. Second by Janutus. Clerk, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Ezak.
Yes. May we have approval of the minutes from our meeting, our work session of December 18th? Do I have a motion for approval? Motion by Rhodes. And a second by Janutus, please. Clerk, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Abstain.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Abstain.
Spinks,
Yes.
Ezak.
Yes. And now we have approval of the regular meeting of December 18th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, please? By Rhodes and by Spinks. Clerk, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Abstain.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Abstain.
Spinks,
Yes.
Ezak.
Yes. And we have under C, approval of the minutes of the organizational work session of January 3rd. Is there a motion to pass this ordinance? Motion, please. By Fluharty. And the second by Rhodes. And clerk, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Ezak.
Yes. And our last, approval of the minutes of the organizational meeting of January the 3rd. Do we have a motion to do this, please? Spinks and by Saunders. Clerk, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Ezak.
Yes. And this evening, we are going to have presentation for 3 new police officers for the city of Bedford. And we will start with Anthony Fuco. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Anthony Fuco,
I, Anthony Bucco,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the charters and laws of the city of Bedford,
and
Ohio,
the charters and laws of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
and faithfully,
and faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of the position
discharge the duties of the position
patrolman
patrolman
of the city of Bedford
of the city of Bedford.
So help me God.
So, yeah.
Oh, may I have you? Make sure you pin the badge on the top. Thank you.
And make her marry her.
Congratulations.
Oh, this is my wife Maria, and my daughter Maya, and my son Anthony.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next officer will be Nathan Betts, please. Of the office. I state your name, please.
I, Nathan Dietz,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the charters and laws of the City of Bedford,
and the charters and laws of the City of Bedford,
Ohio,
Ohio,
and faithfully,
and faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge the duties of position of patrolman.
honestly,
And impartially
impartially
discharge the duties of patrolman.
discharge the duties of patrolman
I just messed that one. Of the city of Bedford.
of the
So
City
help
of
me God.
Bedford, so help me God.
We did. Come on over, Dad. Let's be proud of this man.
This is my dad. I'm joined by my mom, my sister as well, and my grandparents.
And last but not least, we have Brandon Thompson, please. Brandon, congratulations. Are you ready? State your name. I
I, Brandon Thompson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of
Constitution
the United States, Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the charters and laws of the City of Bedford,
and the charter and laws of the City of Bedford,
Ohio,
Ohio,
and faithfully,
and faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge the duties
and impartially discharge the duties
of position of
of position of
patrolman of the City of Bedford,
position of patrolman of the City of Bedford,
Ohio.
Ohio.
So help me God.
So,
You didn't know this was a comedy hour too. We can all relax now. You almost got me on that one.
Mom, Ollie Thompson, my dad, Gary Thompson, Veronica Thompson, Jacob Sindelar, Aiden, uncle, and Doris, sorry. Thank you, guys.
Do something like this, and it was a real honor, and believe me, I felt good about doing it, and I'd love to do it again, because we love guys like this, take care of us too.
Officer Bucco, Beach, and Thompson, I just want to welcome you aboard. Glad to have you. And welcome your families here tonight. I'd like to thank City Council, Civil Service Commission, and the City Administration for making these hires possible. I'd also like to thank the residents and the voters for passing the tax increase, which allowed us to have 3 additional officers. So at this point, we have our full strength plus 2 of the 3 additional officers hired. We have 1 more to go, which we are working on. So, guys, I got some words of wisdom for you guys, passed on to me from a former chief, a wise old chief. Throughout your careers, I want you to remember to be true to yourselves, true to your families, and always honor the badge.
So, well, I'm sure you all would like to stay, but I believe that tonight's honor of the 3 new policemen, we should go out and celebrate with families.
Congratulations.
I'll see you.
Just like at the show, you just move forward to the front.
We'll give the crowd a few minutes to go out, and we'll come back to our meeting in about 3 minutes.
3 seconds. A lot of intermission now. Drinks and snacks are in the hall.
How are you? Yeah, it's cold.
And I can't wait to ride with my summer.
Yeah, exactly. Lock it.
I think I'm gonna read the skies.
Yeah, it's a good call too.
They tell me there's a lot.
Okay, now that everybody is
So many people don't
emptied the room that wanted to leave, and we're all here together again tonight, look to your left and look to your right and say hello to your neighbor for me.
Hello, neighbor.
And now we'll get on with the rest of this council meeting, because I'm still shaking from the first half. Old business, which we have no old business, because this is the first meeting, so the next meeting will be the old business. All right, now we have reports from our city manager.
Thank you. Just want to go over a handful of items and some friendly reminders for everyone that is not aware. We will be having our annual State of the City address next Thursday, the 25th, at Light of Hearts. Please contact Southeast Chamber. I believe it opens at 11:30. If you would like lunch, there's a small charge for that, and the presentation will be at noon, I believe. I also wanted to touch base, obviously with the weather, the up and down temperatures, our service department's had some challenges in dealing with some recent breaks. We have made numerous repairs, waterline breaks over on Broadway near Rockside. We've had recent leaks on McKinley as well as Carlisle. We were able to get McKinley repaired over the weekend and the others repaired as well. It's one of the things that occur when the temperature rises and falls, and especially when it gets as low as it has over the course of the last 2 weeks. Our water department's done a great job on those, and I'd just like to commend them for that. Just a friendly reminder, and actually one of the things that would be helpful to us, obviously if you see water pooling in the curbs, if you see some water in the roadway bubbling, please contact us immediately, especially if you don't see any cones out there. You could be the first person that is finding that, seeing that. And when the weather's as bad, obviously we want to get over there and get that addressed, but it's also imperative that we get the road salt down in the area to make sure that we can prevent that from icing over. So appreciate any assistance in regards to the water. Snow removal, just like to provide a friendly reminder regarding the parking on the streets as well as the walkways. We did have some staff members in our building department reach out to numerous businesses in the community last week just to remind them of any assistance as far as clearing their walks, especially with the schools being back in service. We don't want the children walking in the streets. So please, if you don't have the ability to get your walks cleared, contact us at City Hall. We do know of some volunteers, either through up here at City Hall or through our recreation department. If not, we'll find someone, if not one of us, after hours to get out there and try to help you. So we're trying to collectively, between the city, businesses, and residents, make sure we take care of that. We did receive a letter last week from the Metro Parks regarding calling operations that they're going to be continuing in 18. That's going to actually, the timeline that they had given us was starting today, January 16th, through March 15th. So there'll be various areas of the Metro Parks that will be closed, and obviously they're going to be utilizing a safe, humane, and effective way to do their calling operations. The city is doing their own calling operations as we've done in the last few years. We have requested a reduced amount. Last year, the number that the state wanted us to call was 60. We did not take 60. Obviously, the weather played a big factor into that, especially as warm as it got in the spring. This year, we're just, I believe it's 25 that they had requested us to do. And obviously, we are looking at the same areas near the wastewater treatment plant, cemetery, and other locations. Those areas, same safe, humane, and effective way. Our police department internally works to close off those areas during those hours that they conduct that. I did want to acknowledge that the city did put in for a capital improvement grant through the OPWC. It was about a $1.5 million grant for the resurfacing of Union Street and water line replacement. The county, in the initial scoring of that group, it scored on about, I want to say there's roughly 7 categories. One of the categories is condition. They did not give us the full score. They had given us 20 out of 25 points. Ironically, our project was 3 points shy of making it to the list where most likely we would be funded, 5 points shy of being funded. We appealed that because we feel that road is in tremendously poor condition, number one. And number two, it's a county road, okay? The county's responsible for maintaining that. Upon appeal, they did not raise that score, so we continued to be at 20 points out of 25 on that category, and that project was not funded. One project in the city that was funded was Center Road. The City of Bedford did not apply to get Center Road done. That was the Department of Public Works, and it's going to be done throughout Maple Heights and through Bedford to 5 points. So we are looking at some alternative ways to try to address Union Street. Obviously, that's a significant dollar amount. We're not going to repave the road and not address the water line underneath. It's imperative that that water line gets repaired, and we need to figure out a way to fund both of those. So we're looking at some alternative options. On top of, we're coordinating meetings with OPWC members from the Planning Commission, and the County Engineer's Office to discuss this project. As I said in previous meetings, originally we were told that that street was going to be done in 14. We're now on 18. So one option is potentially to work to solidify the scoring and make sure we get scored higher and better, and wait till next year. But collectively, we're still trying to see what our best approach is. But we know it's a problematic street, and we'd like to address that. So on top of that, given the condition of the winter, obviously roads buckle as the weather goes higher and lower. Our engineer and our service department is gonna be going through the city, starting first week of March, hopefully the weather is starting to cooperate by then, to reassess the streets before we go out to bid. Obviously, we did this in the fall, but some streets have taken a toll over the last couple of months throughout the winter. Once we reassess those and put them in an order that we would like to be able to fund this year, we will then prepare and go out to bid and earmark those dollars for a road program, as well as a sidewalk program this year. Odds are that project will most likely, or award of a contract will most likely take place sometime in June, is a tentative schedule. So we are working towards that. I believe that is all of the, a couple other items just to touch base on, I apologize. There was a delay in the Tesla group breaking ground on the Villa property up on Broadway. That delay is mainly because of the weather and the freezing temperatures. They needed to do a substantial amount of test bores on the property before the foundation of what was approved be started. There's been a delay in that, so they are a little behind schedule, but they're hoping to be up there within the next month to be able to do those borings to get the project started. We also have a project starting at Bonnet View that was approved last year, as well as temporary, temporary phase approvals for the Vita Dialysis Center, which will be being constructed up at Meadowbrook, as well as additional projects at Audi, Toyota, and recently plans submitted for a complete renovation of the Hyundai store. So it looks as if there's going to be some busy season this year, which is a good thing.
Thank you. Law Director?
Just briefly, just to welcome all of you, wish you a happy new year. Welcome the new council people. Mr. Lott is out there watching you, so be careful. And welcome our firefighters, congratulate our police officers, and happy new year.
Finance Director, please.
I'd like to thank the Finance Director, congratulate the Civil Service Commission in regards to their input into that testing, and did a nice job on that. We were able to get 4 candidates from that list, and it's pretty good. And some really good fine gentlemen that we have hired here today. Also, the Finance Department finishing up the 2017 year. I'm glad that year is behind us. However, we're still looking for a really tough 2018. We have a few things on the horizon that are going to be costly this year. 27 pays, the road program, and the extra officers will cut into that and create another deficit. The tax department, we're gearing up, getting ready for the season, and finalizing all annual reports for the audit this year.
Thank you. When's the pancake breakfast going to be this year?
Pancake breakfast will be with the Rotary. It will be April 29th. Don't forget, we have a run in the morning and a walk. After that, we will go and have pancakes, and we also have the art show that day too at the Bedford High School cafeteria and the whole area there.
Thank you. Council reports. We will start with Ward 2, Mr. Janutus.
Actually, I don't have a report, but I would like to thank Mr. Malice for the kind offer to help with the shoveling of the walkways. I think I'm grateful for that, because people struggle with that. There's some, my mother's 92. I try to shovel her walk, but it's not unusual for people in our city that struggle with that effort to do the walkways. So I appreciate the offer. And I'm especially gratified by the selection of this group of officers. I'm grateful for it, and I think that we have a lot to look forward to this year. Thank you.
Ward 3, Mr. Fluharty. Do you have anything?
Figures first time I'm talking to you, took some of my stuff away, but getting back to the shoveling the sidewalks, I've done about probably 8 houses on each side of my street, with my snow blower, but, you know, after a tank of gas, and I don't wanna run out and push it all the way back, so I can only go so far, but if everybody just helps out everywhere, I'm sure everybody's got somebody in their neighborhood that needs help, like Wally just said. The more we help each other and get some sidewalks cleared, so kids and anybody else walking them down the streets, because it is a bad thing. They're always walking in the streets, and it's a bad safety hazard. And also, I also too want to congratulate our new officers, and it's going to be a big help for us in the city, and we needed it. And so welcome to these 3 young men. Now I won't know if I can say young men to these people. So that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
It's good to see all the people here today. It's a shame they are half of them left, but it was good to have a full packed house, at least in the beginning. When we get to that road program, don't forget Northern. It's been pulled off the program I don't know how many times already. That street's in very bad shape. So as you know, I keep reminding you all the time. The next thing is you mentioned the parking situation. This past weekend, at least on my street, there was a number of cars that got plowed around because they were parked on the street. Most of them tend to seem to be the rentals. These people just don't get it. But I'm hoping that we can start ticketing them a little bit more so on some of these, because these people have to get a hint. You don't park on the street, because when you unpark on the street and finally pull it into your drive, the people on the street have to deal with streets that were plowed in those areas. So it's a safety hazard for everyone. But at the same time, these same plow drivers that are plowing driveways are now apparently pushing them across the street, pushing them into the street and leaving them in the street. Or when they leave, they grab their plow and push it up the street and gradually lift their plow so that it leaves it in the street. And in most cases, they were freshly plowed streets, and they aren't anymore. So a few cars go down and suddenly your street's full of snow again. So I don't know if we still have registration for plow drivers like we used to, but we need to start emphasizing the fact that you keep your snow on your property. Whether it's your driver that's plowing, that's an independent contractor or whatever, but we need to keep the snow where it belongs on your property. And of course, the mounds that they create on the sidewalks are very difficult even to get a snowblower to push through. Now, my street, we met between the rest of us on the street, we tend to finally chug through some of them, but we do every house but one, because the guy that owns that house isn't exactly the most friendly. But anyway, we need to work on some of those type of things. The next thing is, do we have any idea when Simon's is going to open up? Because they just opened the one in Euclid.
I included in my memo, I think it was either last week or the week before, that we've reached out to the owner and requested dates for us to sit down and meet with him to see what our timeline is, if there's certain things that he needs from the city of Bedford. So we're waiting on a response for a meeting to get locked in. You know, I do know that he's currently working on an additional store on top of that one in Euclid. So I don't know if he's waiting for that to be complete.
The second week in February. If you go into the store, they've removed cash registers already. There are shelvings that seem to be eliminated already. I'm hoping this isn't the case, that maybe they're just doing a slight remodeling of the store, but everybody you talk to outside of the city, including Giant Eagle people that work at other stores, are all claiming that this one is closing the second week in February because the store itself is losing money. Whether that's true or not, I think we need to check into that, because Simon's isn't going to be open, it looks like, before they close. And let's face it, we don't have anywhere else to shop anymore. Yeah, we're going to get a Dollar General here this year, but we've got one dollar store, but that's not the same. So hopefully this is only a rumor and that there is no truth to it. So let's hope that happens. Now, for all the people who, like Frank said, we're gonna run a budget deficit for this year, we are just started collecting that extra income tax here just a couple weeks ago. People don't realize that the full collection of that doesn't occur until April of next year when you file your income tax. So just because you're supposedly paying for the last 2 weeks an increase in your income tax doesn't mean we can produce all of this stuff. We're still in a deficit spending for at least this year. Sure, we will have some deductions from the payroll that come in, and that's why we've increased the police patrol and put the road program and stuff in, but this year is still gonna be a very, very tight year. Hopefully next year, once this kicks in fully, we'll be able to do some expansion on some of the needed work that's been done in this city, but it just doesn't happen overnight. We're still in a financial situation, better than most areas or communities, but it is still gonna be a difficult year. Thank you.
Can I,
Yes, go ahead.
Don, just to touch base in regards to Giant Eagle, and I've answered this question a couple times. The city itself has received absolutely zero indication.
Yeah, when
from
they
anybody
close, they never
local,
notify.
From anybody local.
Yeah.
On top of that is, our police officers off duty typically work in that store almost every single evening. They've also zero indication, there's no comments whatsoever of that being said locally. We have reached out to their corporate representative, have not spoken to them yet. Doesn't mean that it's a no, by no means am I gonna say what a corporation will do. Because sure, you are notified last minute, but we've received zero indications.
Well, we're sharing a manager now too, so.
I'm merely just.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I'm just worried, that's why I'm bringing it up, so. Just to try, hopefully, to ease some of the rumors that are going around, we are looking into this, so.
Ms. Rhodes, Board 5.
Hello. There you go, Sarah. First of all, hello. Second, I'd like to say congratulations to the police officers. Glad to see those positions filled. Third, I would like to say that in my ward, we have bedfordward5.com. If you would like to go there to get news about what's going on in our ward, to get links to the video that we take here on city council nights, and to sign up for an e-newsletter so you can get that into your inbox as well. If you're a senior in my ward and you would like that mailed to you in paper instead of through an email, please let me know and I can take care of that as well. I think that's about all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Spinks.
First, congratulations to our new police officers. That's always a nice thing to do. Talking again about the snow and the sidewalks and everything, another thing that I've noticed that is a big problem, Mike, and I know we've talked about this before, is the snow plows pile up the snow so high on your tree lawn. Where do you put your trash can? So I've had residents putting their trash cans out in the middle of the street. Please don't do that. I know it's a pain to put them in your driveway because then you have to get out of your car, the weather's bad and everything. That's another thing that last year, of course, it wasn't as bad this year, it's gonna be a problem because we're having a tougher winter. I went down Grand a lot, slipping and sliding down in my car, trying to help people out with getting their trash cans back and everything else, but that was a big problem, and I know tomorrow is gonna be a big problem with it being trash day. For a lot of areas, that the snow was piled up so big, where do you put it, but please don't put it in the street, because then it's gonna get ran over and cause different problems. Next week, Thursday being State of the City. Also a very exciting day that day, the 25th is very busy for me. I'll be on New Day Cleveland. I'll be cooking with the Moss Men. So excited about it. Please tune in. It'll be about 10 o'clock is when the show will air. I've got to get there really early so I can prepare. I'm doing a seafood stuffed French bread, and the recipe will be on Channel 8's website. So very excited about that. That's a good thing for our city. I have a very short period of time to do everything, but I'll try to shout out Bedford to let everybody know. That's all right. That's exciting. End of report.
Thank you, Sandy, and good luck. And if you can give some recipes out, we could take a little stack on the corners of our podium here.
Okay. All right.
Ideas. More than happy to share your cooking. I'm the last one on the list tonight, so I guess I'm taking the mayor's place. He's absent because he's with his wife at another meeting in Georgia, Atlanta. I hope the weather is a little better there than we have here. I guess everybody's topic of conversation is weather right now. So whether or not we make the best of it, it's up to us to help each other out, as Vicky alluded to and everybody else did too. One more thing, shovel around that fire hydrant because those guys are right there next to us. And if we can make their job a little easier and cooperate, and hopefully we don't need them for that, it'll work out. And also, thank you many times over for the trips to my home during the course of the year of 2017. Greatly appreciated. My husband's getting a little better, day by day. That's all we can do for everything. I want to say congratulations to the 3 new officers. Long in coming, and I think these 3 look like they're going to do a good job for us. Can only say what time will tell. I love the audience. Do we have a nice audience tonight? And there's a lady in blue in the back in the second row from the end. She's peeping up. It's Mrs. Opata. But she knows that she had to come tonight to make sure her meeting was going well. We haven't forgotten yet. On the other hand, I want to thank the service department for a very good job on some cold, long days for them. I know it's been long for everybody because we're kind of indoors. And how many times a day can you say, hello dear, how are you? Or yes kids, I'll be right there. It's been so long, I can't wait to get outside and say, hi everybody, here we are again, spring has sprung. So you know what, enjoy tonight because tomorrow's another day that we're going to make the best of. So thank you for being with us tonight again. Now we'll go on to new business. The first ordinance is Ordinance A. We'll have our law director, please.
Ordinance number 9553-18, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Bannon Ford to purchase one 2018 Ford SUV utility interceptor and declaring an emergency.
These were budgeted items that we're going to pass this evening, and clerk, if you'd like to call the roll. Oh, we need a first and second motion by Spinks. In a second. By 2 minutes. Now you can call the roll. Thank you.
Curtis?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes. Ordinance B. Oh, I'm sorry. You go again for the jitters. Third and final, may I have a motion for third and final? Reading of this ordinance by Fluharty and Janutus. The clerk call the roll.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes. Ordinance B.
Ordinance number 9554-18, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Valley Chevrolet to purchase 2 2018 Chevy Tahoes and declaring an emergency.
Do I have a motion to accept this? To suspend the rules by Spinks and Rhodes. Call the roll.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes. Is there a discussion?
Thank you. Yes, just want to touch base, these first 2 ordinances, as mentioned, are budgeted items. They are for 3 new vehicles, 1 Ford SUV vehicle and 2 Chevy Tahoe vehicles. Both of these, the first one being purchased through Lebanon Ford is through the state cooperative purchasing contract, as well as the second, which is through Lally Chevrolet, is also through the state cooperative purchasing contract, ensuring us the lowest price. And again, these are budgeted items.
Ordinance C. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. We need a,
Third and final.
I'm sorry,
Motion for third and final.
third and final, please. By Spinks and Janutus.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Ordinance C.
9555-18, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Hall Public Safety Outfitters to purchase and install equipment for the 3 vehicles that they just authorized to purchase and declaring an emergency. They don't come with the lights on, so you gotta have.
Motion to suspend by Saunders and Rhodes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Okay, ordinance D. Oh, I'm sorry, here we go again, excuse me. Motion to third and final. Go ahead. Motion, third and final. Janutus and Spinks, thank you. Clerk call the roll.
Janutus,
Here we go.
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Now, ordinance D.
Real quick, I just wanted to touch base. This, Hall Public Safety is a company that we've been working with. In the past, we've had to send the vehicles out to get outfitted and equipped with all of the equipment that is needed. Hall is actually a company that's been priced lower, and they actually come out to City Hall or to the municipal complex and do that work here. We get the vehicles on the road much, much quicker than shipping them out. We obviously recommend this contract.
Next ordinance is number 9556-18, authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for providing technical assistance in implementing soil and water conservation measures and declaring an emergency.
Do we have a motion to suspend? By Spinks and Janutus. Clerk call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Is there any discussion for this?
Yes, I can comment. This memorandum of understanding, it's in relation to our stormwater report. Every year, we're required to file this report to the EPA for the city to be compliant. This organization assists us with all of our public outreach, all of the literature that goes out. In years past, there's been the little pick up after your doggy signs that we're able to distribute. All of those come from this organization. And obviously, we're required to do these types of things that are included when we do file our permit. It is a free agreement, although we have had to pay an initial $5,000 up front, and that $5,000 is reimbursed from Cuyahoga County. So ultimately, it is a free agreement and required. We've been doing this for 2 years now.
I have one more question to you, Mike. You mentioned the little signs about pick up after your dog. I was approached earlier this year because I think we gave them away at one of our events. Is there any chance we can get a few more?
I believe at the end of last year, they did reach out to them and they had already distributed all of the ones that they had had. We will try to request additional ones, if that is one of the outreach pieces that they have this year.
Okay, thank
But
you.
whatever they do offer, we'll try to get more to distribute.
Thank you. I have a motion to pass? Third and final motion, third and final. Fluharty and Saunders.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Ordinance E.
Ordinance number 9557-18, amending ordinance number 9439-16, permitting another one-year moratorium on 3% increase in resident water rates mandated by section 911.01 of our ordinances of the city for the calendar year 2018 and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend. By Janutus and Rhodes, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Is there any discussion for this, please?
In regards to this, it's a clarification ordinance in regards to a moratorium we had on the 2017 year. Question came up with the water department, do they have a moratorium on 18? Yes. In regards to the budget conversations and discussion that we had in the budgeting as such, we want another moratorium for the year 2018. Ask council to pass this ordinance this evening.
So the rates will not go up.
Correct.
Motion to pass. Thanks. And Janutus, please. Clerk call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. Item F on our new business.
Madam Chairman, resolution number 2521-18, requesting the county auditor to advance taxes from the proceeds of tax levies for the year 2017 collected in 2018 pursuant to section number 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension, please. Yes, things and. Clerk call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Is there, yes. Is there any discussion?
Discussion in regards to this resolution, what we can do is, after collections start in January, the city's allowed to accept in advance 90% of the taxes that are collected at the county level. We're asking that they take those proceeds and send them to the city. They've already started doing that. We've requested this every year. We're just getting into it at this point. So I ask council to pass this evening so we can get this to the county auditor immediately.
Motion to pass. And we have Spinks and Janutus, please. Clerk call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes. We have item number 9, hearing of citizens. If anybody would like to come up and talk or ask a question, please come to the center podium and state your name and address for the clerk. Yes.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. And please let the mayor know when his wife is on this evening. And before I go into one of the reasons I came,
Could you state your name, please?
I'm Reverend Pamela M. Pinckney Butts. And for safety and security reasons, because I am a preacher and a political candidate right now, I choose not to give my personal address. And the last time we spoke, stop, both of you, right now. Last time we spoke, there was a concern of females, not having enough females in positions of leadership, and I understood you this evening to say that you're hiring another officer. I heard the conversation of men, you guys, and I wanted to just bring that to your attention, that it is appropriate to have some female police officers.
That question was asked to the Board of Civil Service before we had our meeting tonight, or in our caucus room, And no one at the present time has applied that is a female gender. I wanted to have a clarification of that earlier, and I did.
Okay, well, we need to do something about that.
Well,
Okay,
you know,
amen.
candidates are candidates, and whomever they may be, are all going to be treated equally.
I understand that,
Okay,
and that's my point exactly.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
It's okay.
They did have candidates, they just not on the list.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to let you know I'm still on the same page with you with the females, equal opportunity here.
Okay.
The snow, I tried to make a little light of some things, and I was wondering if the snow plows on strike and sidewalks, people who shovel the sidewalks on strike up on Northfield, because I have to walk in the street with my grandbabies. In front of Chanel High School. Would you just look into that, please?
Actually, just, actually, this is for the record. We did, I had mentioned that some of our building officials, department and staff members went throughout the city. And we actually identified Chanel as one of the locations. And we had sent notice to that property owner that he is responsible and that we did expect those to be cleaned. So,
It hasn't been done.
we did do that. And I believe that went out on Friday, but I
I
can
just
check
wanted to let
because
you
I
know,
was
since I
counting
came
on it.
as friend, not foe to this council. Sure. Absolutely. And Councilman Sanders, I do need to see you after the meeting, please. I am having an event in Cleveland next Saturday. Last year I did the invocation and the opening speech for the National Women's March, and I was asked to speak again this year. After that, though, I am having somewhat of a symposium and a community event in Cleveland at one of my churches to make the people aware of domestic violence and how it impacts people's lives. It is at one of my churches, which is located behind Collinwood High School, and I ask you if you will please forgive my grandbabies for if they are somewhat of a distraction. It's 9 o'clock at night, and they're in overdrive right now. And I don't know if you all knew, but my grandchildren were actually missing. And I just got them found last week. And I sent out flyers across the world trying to find my grandbabies. So I've got to deal with some redirection right about now. In public safety today, they were discussing the new penal system, the new justice center and the modifications. And I'm concerned how that's going to come over to the city because, as I told you, Mr. Mollis, I feel like people are coming to the city just disrespecting it. If the stores are going to close, they owe you just a moral obligation to speak to you. And I call to task my fellow clergy because if we know things, if you have a church here in this city, you know what's going on. And I call to task people keeping their mouths closed because when you strip the city of everything, I watched the city of East Cleveland just go straight to pots. And people doing things what they want to do when they come through here. It's a blatant disrespect for you. And I ask that you, Ms. Mezak, call to task we leaders. As I stated before, I am seeking a legislative seat on a federal level because I think some things are still not being addressed as they should be. Not just women's rights, that's not the only issue because there's some women that don't do right too. But we just have some issues that are flowing into your community that are not, into our community that are not appropriate. Thank you very much. And I pray that we're going to have a blessed, non-tragic new year. Anytime you need police, it is an issue, but to have them is a blessing. To know somebody's guarding the gates.
Thank you.
I'm going to create it once.
Is there someone else that would like to speak this evening?
Jim O'Neill, 155 Gould Avenue. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Seamartin on your election. All you gotta do is follow your predecessors' footsteps. You did a great job for the city.
Yes, you did.
Heather, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to see my councilman for 12 years. I live in Ward 5.
Yep.
I'd have to come to a council meeting.
Well, you can
So-
find, that's it, you can come see me anytime.
I want to
so.
tell you right now, you've done one more good in however long it is than your predecessor did. And how many years he was council? 12 years?
I was 26 actually, I believe.
26? Yeah. I lived there 53 years. Okay.
So,
You got a lot of great ideas. Don't lose your enthusiasm. Communication is great. Even old guys can get out of it.
thank you.
Thank you. My second comment is, I don't want to offend you folks, but anytime I come to a council meeting, we're patting our back, patting each other's back on our services. Okay? I think we got some serious problems in the city with our service. Okay? Leaf pickup, can't do it. Branch chipping, once a week, once a month now, 1 week. Snow plowing, forget about it. You want clear roads, go to Bedford Heights. Don't swing around Bedford. Rock salt, we can't get rock salt. Is this rocket science? So I would say, hey, think about it. I've been here 53 years, okay? I've seen the good times. You know what's happening now? Going downhill. You got branches laying all over the city. Okay, you used to pick up Christmas trees. Okay, what do you do anymore? Put out a list of what services are offered to the people of Bedford. Can I get my sewer cleaned out? When? Not on a weekend? No? So nothing happens on a weekend?
Yeah, that was cut out about 6 years ago.
Your leaf pickup? You ought to job some stuff out. You get a contractor in here, maybe finished in 3 weeks. Don't start in September. That's my comment. Just something for you to think about. Thank you for listening.
Would anybody else like to come up and make a comment or a question? Oh, I'm sorry.
Her hand raised.
Come over. Thank you.
Beth Hosea Stewart, 93 Avalon. I will make it quick. Thanks for the officers. I'm always up here saying, when are you getting them? When are you getting them? So there's no way I was missing tonight. So hope that other officer will be there soon. Just wanted to let you know that this is the last week to send in money for Lights Out for Hunger so that we can get the check to the clergy center next week. Just the worst time to be a food bank. Everyone's very generous and kind in November and December. And then we all have bills come in, and it's cold, and people stay in, and we have a lot of needy people living on streets and people who need food. So many people in this room have already donated, so I'm probably preaching to the choir. But if you did forget, and you get it to me tonight or this week, we will get it to them next week. I can't wait to see that next officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Mayor, if I might comment, in regards to the next test, we already have it tentatively scheduled for April 7th for the written exam. Prior to that, we'll have 3 dates where people could take the physical agility test. Prior to that, we will be meeting this Thursday in Civil Service to discuss that and set the advertisement for that, and then the police officers and administration will take over from there on the advertising and just get the word out for people to take that exam. So that will probably be, right now, set aside April 7th for the written. Prior to that, we have 3 other dates, and we go back a year on physical agility testing. So all those candidates do qualify to take the test come April 7th.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's where you give the next officer from, unless they find someone on the ground.
Would someone else like to come up this evening, or? Come on up, Sarah.
Sarah Gennady, 331 Marion. I want to thank you guys for hiring what's been in about 30 days, you have 4 new officers, so I want to thank you. I know that kind of came at you guys about 14 months ago with a personal story of an incident in my house, so I appreciate just the due diligence of this community and helping support the safety of our residents. But also, I've been attending many of these meetings, and I'd like to say that I come to almost all of them. And I've been scaling back and I haven't been talking, so I know this has been long overdue, and I make everybody nervous every time I come up. But I do want to say something in regards to some of the stereotypes of residents in this community as well as on our council, that as a person who does not own their home, I take great offense when comments are made about renters. I am well educated, I have a job, and I take care of my yard. I have decorations, I help my neighbors, I'm civically engaged, and I would put myself up to many residents that I've been a lifelong Bedford resident, and I'm an asset to this community and I love this community. So when comments are made about residents, being renters, I can say that as a renter, even though I have a unique situation, I pay more in income tax than a retiree who has their home paid off. Yet I feel like I'm less of a citizen, I have less of a voice. And I just want to remind you that in today's age, that your millennials and your professional young families are working just as hard, and they're just not buying homes. And that could be because financially, nowadays having a bachelor's is a prerequisite to any position. And now everybody has a bachelor's, so now you have to get a master's. So I probably owe more in student debt than people own on their homes. And at the same time, now the average is, some people, they held the same job for 30, 40 years, and that's great. Well, now statistics say that someone my age is going to change their career 4 times. And I can tell you right now, I'm on career number 3. And I'm doing all right, and I'm very happy where I'm at. So I don't look forward to 4, but that's the law of averages. And I'm not ready to root myself quite yet, so I haven't balked, because I haven't rooted myself yet, because I don't want to limit my options for myself and my family. So I'm just asking that when we make comments about such things, that you do keep in consideration that this community is changing, and renting is not evil. And we are just as part of this as everyone else. And that's all I wanted to say, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Very admirable. Okay, I'll be Marilyn. Come on up.
We'll sit back there.
I couldn't wait till you got here.
I made her. That was awesome. I used to have plenty to say when I was up there.
Ellen Salata, 1365 Broadway, Bedford. My big concern is Giant Eagle. I mean, I am really concerned. And when they threatened this the last time, I forget what I did, but I know that I bought it. And it would be really bad. I mean, our residents have had enough closures. But Giant Eagle, there's nothing, I don't care about Simon's over there, there's nothing all down Broadway, all into Macedonia almost. I think it's a really bad thing. I hope we can do everything that we can possibly do. And I know it's difficult with corporations. I understand that completely. Don understands it, you all do. But hopefully something can be done. And I'll be willing to help, because I want to see that happen. Vic, get busy. Thank you very much, and thank you all for everything through the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. And you know what, Marilyn? You can come back anytime you want.
Every meeting, but
well, you were worried about getting to this one, and you made it. And you know what? You're welcome for the next one and 100 after that.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Is there anybody else that has a concern or a question? Come on up. How are you?
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Svillick. I live at 233 Paul Street. I've been a resident of Bedford since 1977, homeowner since 1981. I have a couple of concerns. I want to know what time are plow drivers allowed to do residential yards? Because it's been happening a couple times during the middle of the night when they show up with their competition exhausts to do the yards. So I just want to know, is there a time that they are?
You mean the private plow
Yes.
drivers? I guess most of the time they do it, they have their own schedule, their own route. Because the gentleman that does mine, I'm like last on it, so it's anywhere from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9, 1:30. Most of the time, the guys usually go out at night after all the traffic is off the streets or out of the yards. People that have people that park in their yards, but I don't think there's a set time that they can plow.
I'm not sure if there's an exact time, however, the incident or instance that you're referring to as far as, we do have a noise ordinance. If someone has competition exhaust on their, showing up at 7 o'clock in the morning to do the driveway with a normal plow.
No, this is at 1 in the morning.
My point being, a regular plow and a plow with an exhaust system on it that obviously is gonna rattle the house next door is two different things. So let me, afterwards, if you don't mind, if I can get your phone number, and I'll look into some specifics and also speak with our police department in regards to, that noise concern.
Because I know some cities have time from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. only, to plow the yards. Another concern I have is when you're traveling south on Broadway, coming up the 5 Points, you have a left turn and a right turn and straight to travel down Bedford. I don't know how many times I've been at the light there when somebody comes flying up in the right lane when it's a turn lane and they dive right in front of you. I would like to see some kind of markers be put up there, so if they do want to cut over like that, they're going to take down a couple of them. Or a police officer to sit there one day just to watch and see how many times that happens during the time, in the evening, of course, at rush hour, this is when this is mostly happening. So that's my concerns. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else? Come on, Mr. O'Neill.
I'm back.
Got inspired.
I was at a council meeting, I got to tell you what it is. My name is Jim O'Neill, 155 Gould Avenue. I was at a council meeting here when Hank Angelo was city manager. I brought up the same thing, okay? More rocket science, okay? If you talk about no money, I know a great way to make a lot of money. All right? Put a cop on the corner, put another one up the street, you'll make at least $500 a day. Goes on, you tell people, nothing happens. So I'm just reiterating what the man said here. Have a good evening.
Laura?
Hello, my name is Laura Salata. I live at 279 Graham Boulevard. I just want to make a comment about what the gentleman just said about the traffic. I go that way sometimes in the morning if I stop at Marilyn Salata's house. And it is a problem. I mean, I was cut off a couple times, and I think I made a comment to my mother once about it, so I just wanted to make that comment because it is a problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Is there anybody else this evening? I mean, I think now I got this thing under control. I haven't made the wrong stuff yet. I did, but we're good. Sir, anything, something?
Would you repeat the time of your State of the City address?
Our State of the City will be Thursday, January 25th. Doors open at 11:30. And I believe there's a lunch that has to be paid for by the individual that attends.
How much is
$10. And then we will be at Light of Hearts in their big room, their big dining room. And after the luncheon, the State of the City address will be given.
If I'm needed.
Excuse me, you don't have to buy the lunch, you can still come to that.
Yes, absolutely. I was working my way up to it, but thank you for reminding me. So if you want to just come in before the State of the City address, I suggest coming anywhere from 12 to 12:15 so that there'll be plenty of seats to accommodate everybody. And everybody's welcome. Because if we don't get to that meeting, when we do the ward meetings, which we'll have a schedule of that out for the next council meeting, we usually go over it at the ward meetings, State of the City address. Mike Nallis, our city manager, and the mayor do a nice job of informing everybody what's going on, what we're gonna do, and what we hopefully can do for you. Other than that, there's no more questions for this evening. I personally want to say thank you for putting up with me tonight. I tried my best not to goof up or make a mistake. Can't run it perfect, only if I do it once or twice a year, but you know what? I enjoyed being your vice mayor for this meeting tonight, and we're adjourned. Oh, we can't do it yet? I need a motion. And a motion is made by Saunders, and do I have a second by Janutus? Ready? We're adjourned. Thank you. Oh, wait. We gotta have the roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We have to go? Yes. Time to go home and go to bed. Yes. You're not going to bed. What are you going to do? Oh, thank you.